Good afternoon. Welcome to the January 16th, 2024 meeting of the Sacramento Area Flood Control Agency Board of Directors. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Thank you. Director Desmond?
Here.
Director Hume?
Here.
Director Kennedy?
Here.
Director Rodriguez?
Here.
Director Cerna?
Here.
Director Jennings?
Here.
Director Kaplan?
Here.
Director Dickinson?
Here.
Director Holloway? Director Johns?
Here.
Director Avdis?
Here.
Director Lee Reeder? And Director Stevens?
Here.
We have a 12-member quorum. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This meeting of SAFCA is being live streamed at Metro 14 saccounty.gov and will also be re-aired on Saturday, January 18th at 3 p.m. and will also be available on SAFCA's website within 48 hours after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments?
I have not received any.
Is there any member of the public that's here that would like to speak before the board? Hearing and seeing none, we will go to the next item, please.
And our first item is the election of officers for the SAFCA Board of Directors for 2025.
Okay, we will take the election of the board chair first. Is there a nomination?
I would like to nominate Patrick Kennedy.
Second.
Third. Okay. Thank you very much. With that, then, is there any other nominations? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Thank you very much. Appreciate the support. Next is vice chair, and is there a nomination for vice chair?
I'd like to nominate Brian Holloway to continue serving as vice chair.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion or a nomination. Any others? Okay, hearing and seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Thank you. Next item, please.
The next item is closed session, and you will recess to hearing room 2.
For purposes of going into closed session, I'd like to make announcement that I will recuse myself pursuant to 84308 for potential conflict on item dealing with 5625 East Levy Road and 5311 East Levy Road.
Thank you very much. Any others?
Yes, I would also like to make known that I will be recusing myself from discussion on items related to any interest of myself or my family.
Thank you very much, Director Abdis. Any others?
Mr. Chair, I will also be recusing myself on, I think it's the 2, actually. I don't know about the third, those having to do with East Levy Road.
Perhaps it's the 3. Probably the 3.
Okay.
Okay. I will ask for any others, but we won't have a quorum, so that's all. With that, we will recess to closed session.
Probably.
All right. Come back to order. Council clerk, first please call the roll.
Thank you. Director Desmond?
Here.
Director Hume?
Yes.
Director Kennedy?
Here.
Director Rodriguez?
Here.
Director Cerna?
Here.
Director Jennings?
Here.
Director Kaplan?
Here.
Director Dickinson?
Here.
Director Holloway?
Here.
Director Johns?
Here.
Director Avdis?
Here.
Director Lee Reeder? And Director Stevens?
Here.
We do have a 12-member quorum.
Thank you. Council, is there anything to report out of closed session?
Yes, I'd like to report that Directors Kaplan, Dickinson, and Avdis were not present in the room for the discussions related to the 3 items on East Levy Road and did not receive any materials related to the actions either.
Thank you, Council. Director Avdis, you have something, are you punched in or is that old?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, I think there was a bit of an oversight. I think we have public comment from someone, I think that,
Oh, pardon me.
there you go.
Oh, thank you.
There you
I
go. All right.
apologize.
I'm afraid that's as low as the podium goes. Yes, I'd like to welcome Asha Kaplan. Is it Highland? To the podium, please.
Hi, my name is Asha. I'm a Girl Scout. It is Girl Scout cookie season. Please support our Girl Scout and order a box of cookies. Each box costs $6. They will be delivered on February. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Cerna.
As you know, I'm 5 doors down from you, so I will just tell you I will take some Thin Mints right now and some shortbread, please.
I'll get my order in and come down to City Hall and pick them up. Asha, thank you. That's the most shameless plug we've had all year.
Hey, Asha.
And you did a great job.
Asha, you said 1 box. I was wondering if it's okay if I buy 2. Okay, good.
Are you going to give us order forms? Okay.
Okay, I think this meeting is over. Next item, please.
Our next item are consent matters, and items 2 through 9 are in order.
Move consent.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to move consent and a second. Is there any board member that would like to discuss any items on consent? Seeing none, do we have any public comment?
I have not received any.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Next item,
Our
please.
next item is the Executive Director's Report for January 16th, 2025.
I think in my 45 years I've been working, that's the hardest act to come up and follow. Good job, Sarah. So I do want to take 1 second. I did want to thank Patrick and Brian for their service. They've been great and going way out of their way to help us on a number of issues. So, and I look forward to another year working with you. And I was disappointed you didn't give an acceptance speech there, Patrick, but.
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah, okay.
After we adjourn.
So, just real quick, the federal fiscal year, and we depend largely on the federal system with the Corps of Engineers. It started October 1st of 2024 for the fiscal year 25. Congress did not get their appropriation bills passed. They did do one continuing resolution into December, and then they did another one. So right now we're funded through March, so hopefully we'll be able to keep that going so that we can keep the Corps working and not impact our projects. So I did put together a fairly lengthy written ED report, but I just wanted to touch a few things for those that are new and a good reminder for all of us. Once we don't really get the benefits of everything we're doing until the projects get constructed. So I did just want to talk just a little bit about our 6 construction projects that are going on, a little over $5 billion in investment here. Some of them are done and operational, and the rest will be done shortly. So just a little walkthrough on those. You can see we have every part of our system except for some parts of the Yolo bypass, which are in study right now, that are being reconstructed by these 6 projects. The first one, down at the very bottom in the darker blue, is the South Sacramento Streams. That one does 2 things. One, the streams, it helps protect those when they peak during storms from overflowing their banks. But the other is we are susceptible to failures south of Sacramento along the Sacramento River. The topography is such that it wants to come back upstream. Those serve as our southern border against the water coming back our direction. Just a few pictures from that one. On the upper left is a detention basin to take some of these peak flows. And then the other 3 are levees and flood walls. The 2 on the right, Beach Lake Levee, that's the protection from the Sacramento River coming back up. And this project was completed. It's in the closeout phase right now. The next one, the lighter blue along the American River, rebuilding about 25 miles of levees. This work is primarily seepage wall work. It also has been completed and is in closeout now. The bottom right there is the stability work, flattening the slope of the levees there, and the other three are slurry wall works around the system. Jumping up to Folsom, the red area there, that was the Folsom Dam modifications. We call it the Joint Federal Project, built 20% by the Bureau of Reclamation and 80% by the Corps, about $1.1 billion. That one has been completed. It's been operational, except for there were some issues with the coating on the rods, which are currently being completed or replaced right now over the next few years. That one, the other part of that was the first in the nation for the Corps of Engineers, is a forecast-informed operation, which not only helps us on the flood control, but also on the water supply. So now coming to the three that are actively in construction, the RAISE project in the yellow up there had three components. The first was the bridge, which was already constructed and completed. We had to get, at the time the traffic was flowing across the top of the dam, we had to get it moved off the dam so we could do both the JFP and the RAISE project. And then the flood risk reduction component, and then we do have a component for modifying the temperature shutters. I'll just talk about the flood risk reduction. We're raising all 8 dikes and Mormon Island Dam and right left wing dam, 3.5 feet. And we are retrofitting the existing gates and sealing that gap at the top so that we can better utilize the existing space at Folsom there. So just a few pictures from there up on the upper left. Mormon Island Auxiliary Dam is the only one of the existing earthen embankments and dams that the impervious core didn't go all the way to the top. So we're having to put a slurry wall to cut that off, tied down to the impervious core, and then we'll put a flood wall up on top of that. Dike 8 we raised with an embankment raise. That's completed up on the top, and then we're raising the right wing dam using a flood wall, which you can see down on the 2 bottom pictures. Then jumping to Natomas, which is in green, dark green over on the far left. The basin was about 42 miles of levee surrounding it. Safeco went ahead with help from the state, funding-wise, and we completed almost 18 miles of levees while we were waiting for the federal authorization to come through. And then, so we built the blue part, and the Corps is building the pink parts. About $1.5 billion there. I actually put pictures in from the parts we constructed. Oops. Whoa. It didn't like Natomas.
Yeah. Asha, can you fix this for him?
No buttons on.
Oh, there we go. Huh, okay. So these are from the part that Safeco built, the adjacent levee, and then on the upper left, that we needed borrow material. That was a borrow area, and then we also needed giant garter snake is an endangered species out there. They live in the bends and canals, and so we had mitigation requirements, so we left it in a form to create mitigation, and then that was subsequently planted there. Okay, then jumping to the last one, this was our last authorization, and it kind of picked up all the areas of the system that hadn't already been authorized in orange there. So there was a number of components to it. There was erosion protection on the American and Sacramento rivers, along with underseepage along the Sacramento River, and levee work up in the north areas, like in the Arcade Creek area. And then also, we're widening the Sacramento Weir and bypass. So just a few pictures of the construction. These are some of the erosion work along the Sacramento American rivers. Moving along, this is the seepage and stability work along the Sacramento River East Levee. This is up in the north area. This is work actually Safeco was in the lead on, rebuilding the levees up in that area. And then finally, the Sacramento Weir bypass is under construction right now. Since we met last in November, the Corps put out an updated video, so I just wanted to share that with you. It's real short. All right, thank you. I just wanted to give just a real quick overview of all the construction. If I counted right, there's 11 major construction contracts going on all around the system right now. So, and getting those done is what gives us our protection. So I just wanted to share that, and I'll take any questions.
All right, any questions? Yes, sir.
Back on the Folsom, the Mormon Island, et cetera, work, does that work increase the level of flood protection?
So, yeah, so the raise will increase the level of flood protection. It gives us two things. One, we're raising all the dams, we're raising the whole reservoir by 3.5 feet. So it gives us another about 40 to 50,000 acre feet of storage physically from the raise. But then we're top sealing the gates, which means right now there's that gap that you saw in the gates. At a certain point, they have to open those gates so they don't overtop. And when they open all the gates, it's larger than the system downstream can handle, so it floods us. So by top sealing those gates, they can hold that longer and utilize, there's 14 feet of space above that gate. So in large flood events, it lets us use, there's another 150,000 acre feet of storage there too. So it gives us a couple hundred more thousand acre feet of storage to help manage floods.
I mean, that's on Folsom Dam itself.
Yes.
And of course, the auxiliary spillway was intended to get us that additional increment. I assume you're getting an additional increment out of sealing the gates,
Right.
But I was really thinking of the other work, the Mormon Island, and the related work that you showed some slides of. Does that increase the level?
Yes. So what happened at Mormon Island, for whatever reason, when they built it originally, they only took the impervious core up to the top of the flood space. So if you get water for any length of time above that, it wants to seep through that area. So the reason we're putting the slurry wall in there is to basically do what we're doing at the levees, put a cutoff so water can't flow through. That will allow us to take the floodwaters up higher without endangering the structure there.
And what's the increment of increased protection you get out of that project? Is it, I'm assuming somebody made a judgment somewhere along the line that was cost effective.
So once we're done with all of our projects, there will be well over 300-year level of protection. And then we have projects that we're working on now to get back towards the 500-year level. But once the raise is done with the other work downstream, we'll be between the 300 and 350 year level of protection.
Well, asked differently, if you had not done if we weren't doing the Mormon Island and associated work outside of Folsom, the dam structure itself, what difference would that make in the level of protection?
Well, it's all part of a system. So we're doing the work at Folsom, we're doing the erosion work on the American River, and we're widening the Sacramento Weir. Those three are all tied together so we can pass more water from 115,000 to 160,000. So if we don't do any one of those components, we won't be able to do that. So it would, I mean, we'd be able to pass a 200-year level event without doing that work, but we need those three in combination to get us up to that higher level there. If we drop off the raise, we won't have the capacity, we won't have the ability to go to 160,000 at Folsom right now.
Yeah, well, I wasn't really referring to the raise. I was referring to that ancillary, what looked to me to be ancillary work.
Well, Mormon Island is part of the raise project because we have to raise, there's 8 dikes and 4 dams out there. They're all the same elevation. We have to raise them all 3.5 feet. So the work we're doing at Mormon Island is part of the raise project. If we don't do Mormon Island, then that would be our low spot. That would become a spillway in the future. So,
I see. Okay. Thanks.
Director Stevens.
Yes. Me being a South Sutter resident, will this take pressure off, like the feather? Everything backs up during a high water event, like the feather backs up from the Sacramento.
Piece it out.
Does that decrease the pressure in my area? Would that decrease the pressure, or are these items, it's further on down the?
No, actually, the biggest help will be when we finish the YOLO comprehensive study and are able to widen the Fremont Weir and some other pinch points in the YOLO bypass. That will really help you upstream. But currently, we are widening the Sacramento Weir and bypass, and we just finished, the state just finished widening part of the YOLO bypass from I-5 down to the Sacramento bypass. That provides some relief upstream right now. So,
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Appreciate it. All right, that takes us to the end of our agenda, unless there's any other board members have anything to identify at this time. Seeing none, we are adjourned. Our next meeting is February 20th.